All right, the first thing you want to do when you get the receiver out of the case, um, press on the power button to make sure that it's fully charged, and then you navigate the menu by sliding down and to the extreme right onto the gear wheel, and then you slide to the next one, which is indicated by the globe logo. As you can see, it is set to Chinese by default, so I'm going to switch that to English, and then it'll automatically grade the Chinese. You swipe down and then you're back on the startup screen again. If the screen is not responsive at all, that's probably because it's been locked, and the lock indication is shown right here on the top right corner, and that is activated by the power button, which also doubles as a lock screen button as well. So the next thing you want to do is make sure that you remove the seal from under which covers the pins, because if you don't, then when you insert the receiver back in the case, it will not charge. Here, same thing goes for the transmitters. Here, as you can see, when they are charging, and the charging indicator lights are here at the bottom for the case itself. Ideally, if it is less than 3, I would suggest that you charge it full. And the transmitters are also charged in a similar manner with the pin connectors at the bottom, and there's no screen here, but there are icons indicated by green or red light. The power button on the left, the gain knobs on the left, the noise reduction button here, and the power charging port with the inbuilt mic, receiver, and the lab mic input 3.5 mm TRS right here. And the clip at the back, unfortunately it does not come with any magnet clip-ons or snap-ons. It'll be nice. I prefer to have a magnet, but that is something that I'll have to either DIY or get as an additional accessory. It's not a deal breaker, but that's what it is. And as far as the unit is concerned, I'm going to test it with all the compatible devices and also do a range test from my own experience and share it with you all in the video. Welcome to the video, and as you know from the topic, we're going to talk about the Ulanzi U-Mic. What I'm using for this recording initially is the Saramonic Blink 100, so that it doesn't come with the charging case. I don't know if they sell it now, and it's a single channel mic, so you can hear, and you will also get to compare with the Ulanzi mic how much of a difference it makes in between these two mics. However, some of the reasons or factors for me to choose Ulanzi were, the onboard recording option. The Ulanzi offers onboard recording with 8 GB memory built into the transmitter. I compared it to the other options I was looking at. I shortlisted 3 of them. I shortlisted MoveLink M2 and the Godox XT1. So now I hooked up the Ulanzi U-Mic without the noise reduction on. So this is the standard mode, so to pick up any sort of environmental noise. One of the advantages of the mic compared to the Blink 100, which I've used a while ago, I don't have to worry about pairing it. It basically comes synced or out of the box. So I just have to pick it up and it's good to go. The only adjustments I might have to make is on the gain, which I have set on the camera as well. So the Panasonic G9, the mirrorless camera. The preamps are pretty bad, so I have set it to minus 10 dB. This mic offers 3 different recording mode: mono, stereo, and safety track. Safety track obviously being the best option to use, apart from having the backup recording option built into the transmitters. Another advantage of the mic itself is basically it offers universal compatibility, which means it works with cameras, smartphones, including iPhones. You can use it on the PC, although I don't think I would use it with a PC because I have a condenser microphone hooked up to the desk. But if there's a scenario I have to use it on the go, Zoom calls or live streaming or anything of that sort, it's good to have it handy without having to do any extensive setup. and also the fact that it offers 20 hours of battery. While on the go, you don't have to worry about charging it, although it takes about 2 hours to charge, which is not bad. And I can also charge it with a power bank or in the car. So far, I haven't seen any drastic reduction in the battery, so it doesn't drain as quickly as I would think it would have, because it doesn't require a lot of power. So for the real world performance, the claims and specifications are one thing, but how does it really perform in real life? For me, there are a couple of factors that makes a difference. The usability, the biggest advantage, obviously, of the device itself is that you can just take it out of the box and it's good to go. It pairs by itself. You don't have to worry about it. Although the pairing process is not really daunting. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Adjustments in the gain is something that you could do on the transmitter. You can see the gain levels on the transmitter because it does not have a screen. However, you can see it on the receiver. And there are dedicated mute buttons as well on the receiver itself, for each one of these transmitters. Apart from that, the receiver screen is placed perfectly as it should be and it's facing you if you're going to mount it on the camera hot shoe mount. Or you could also flip it around just like I have right now in a scenario when you're self-filming. The next bit is reliability and the range. Of course, the results would matter dramatically depending on the environment, the devices you used, and the kind of setup that you do with the mic. But however, in most case scenarios, it should not disappoint. At least so far from my experience, I find it quite user-friendly and easy to use. Of course, as mentioned earlier, the onboard recording does help mitigate with any sort of dropouts or interference or problems with the recording itself. That way you can sync it in post. It's a simple, good old way of syncing audio. One other reason why I bought the mic and one of the advantages of the U-Mic is the having to plug in the external lav mic. It does improve the quality, not drastically, but again, you can be the judge while you listen to the audio difference. I've currently hooked up the lavalier mic with the standard mode on. Noise reduction has been turned off. I'm going to now turn it on so that you can tell the difference for yourself if it really makes a difference, and it's a simple click away. The next factor that matters is the audio quality, but again, this is really a hard one to comment on. There are several factors that determine the audio quality, and when you're using the built-in omnidirectional condenser capsule on this transmitter, the quality is pretty decent so far in my observation. I wouldn't say it's outstanding, but it's good enough for presentations or live streaming or vlogging or video recording of this sort, where the sound needs to be good and not great, not for music production, because that's not something that I would do. What's interesting to note, and this would be good news for users of mirrorless and DSLR cameras, is that the output level coming out of the receiver is reasonably high, which means that you can set up the mirrorless camera or the DSLR on the lowest volume possible to avoid any disappointment with the inbuilt preamps. And you can rely completely on the mic to give you the best recording level possible. Of course, you have the advantage of enhancing the audio in the editor software that you're going to use. There are several available out there. The Ulanzi mic does have some branding on it, just like every other similar system or any other product in the market. But it exists for purely identification, I guess, and I'm not really bothered with the name as long as it's not all over the device. And also, of course, a black tape would do the job if I want to hide the branding on it. Apart from that, you can also personalize it with your own sticker or branding and logo, depending on if you're doing a product shoot for a client. You can use their branding. You just have to get into the hassle of printing their logo and sticking it onto it if required when you're filming the client or their models. All right. enough said. Let's go out there and do a range test, see how it performs in the outdoor environment. In open space, it says it can go up to 100 meters. In some tests I've seen on YouTube, it's exceeded 100 meters. I don't think I'm going to use it beyond that or up to that, but it's good to know how it performs in areas where there are barriers, other interference that you can expect. So I'm going to walk up to 100 meters range, and let's see how far I can go from the camera. And I'm gonna turn my back while I walk, not gonna walk backward. As I walk, I'm not sure if the audio is being captured clearly. So this is practically how I would walk. And while I walk, I speak for the sake of testing the audio. This is unpaved road that I'm walking into. I'm nearly so how far am I? I think I might be approximately around 100 meters away now. I can barely see the camera, and I'm gonna flash the light to indicate where I am at. I'm not sure if I can be heard, and if I can be clearly seen in the video. I'm almost at the end of the open parking lot. For the sake of this test, not sure if there's any interference in the audio. This is as far as I can go. I'm heading all the way to the end of the parking lot. And that's as far as I can practically go in this open space. All right, let me try and go a little further. And that's me flashing towards the camera. All right, in the next scenario, now I'm testing the audio on the Android device. So now I hooked up the mic to the Apple 13 Pro Max. So just so that you know if it makes a difference, and you'll be able to hear it firsthand yourself with the raw audio coming out of the phone. All right, for the concluding remarks, I just want to mention one or two things about the things I dislike or I wish it existed, which is the gain level indication on the transmitter. It's definitely a miss. I wish it was available in some way or form. Apart from that, just getting used to the long press mute and a short press recording. I wish it was the opposite, because for me, my personal preference would be a short press for mute and long press for recording, because as I tend to press on the recording button when I'm trying to mute the audio. Anyway, it's not a deal breaker. It's just something a matter of getting used to it. And overall, it's a very pleasant experience with the mic. So far, I've not had any issues or glitches or having to worry about anything of sorts. The usability was definitely very smooth in terms of reliability. Of course, I didn't have to worry about anything whatsoever. In the Winma for a dead cat in the outdoor as well worked perfectly fine. It was just a twist in the clock direction, about 90 degrees, and that did the job. As you can hear from the video in the operation range. Having said that, the long distance operation also definitely passed in my own experience. I didn't expect it to go beyond 150 meters. That was definitely a surprise. Although if you're going to move around and turn your back to the camera, it's definitely not recommended beyond 50 meters in my experience. It's not recommended in any case. However, if you have to, I think it might be okay in just within the 50 meters range. And anything beyond that, you definitely have to face the camera to get a clear audio out of it. Apart from that, the battery life is definitely really good. So far in my usage, I think I've used it for about 4 hours approximately overall, and it's at 75%. So that's pretty good for what I would expect. A quick top up, and I think I should be good to go. And I think I could still continue to use it without having to charge it, but a quick charge won't do any harm. Apart from that, the audio quality is pretty good overall. The only thing that I was a bit concerned about is the audio quality coming out of the inbuilt recorder. The gain was pretty low compared to what I would have expected. But having said that, from the specifications, the manufacturer clearly mentions that the gain levels are in between -10 and +10 dB. So yes, can't do a lot with that. But of course, the editing software can do the job. You can increase the gain gradually if you have to acquire the gain that you are looking for. If you're looking for a buying recommendation, I definitely recommend the Ulanzi AM18. It's something that you shouldn't miss for under $100. Although there are many other options out there, in my own usage and experience, I would highly recommend it. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.